All right, family. So we are live, ladies. Peace and Black power to all of the people who are listening and viewing this broadcast. Before we get started, actually, I'm not even going to say that. Welcome to Tea Talk with the Sisters. And before we get started, we would like to lift up the ancestors. As we always do, we ask right now that our ancestors, calling on the ancestors to grant us the knowledge and wisdom of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, the warrior spirit of Yah Satiwa, Queen Nzinga, and Harriet Tubman, and give us the hunger for truth and justice and balance, Mayat. So welcome to Tea Talk with the Sisters. Wear your teacups, ladies. Put your teacups in the air.
All right.
So look, welcome to Tea Talk with the Sisterhood. We meet every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Sometimes we run a little over, depending on the discourse. But join us every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. to talk about things going on in the sisterhood. My name is Dr. Oya Mayat, and I'm the co-founder of Ed Anime Productions, and we produce educational material for children. Before we get into today's topic, I would like for all of the sisters to introduce themselves one by one.
Peace, family. My name is Kia, aka Wakesho. I am one of the members of Nature's Crown International. Yeah, that's it.
Peace and love, beautiful people. This is your sister Raziki Zafira, and I am also a member of Nature's Crown International. I also do works in astrology, and I am also a sacred sexpert specializing in energy work and tantra. Peace and love.
Peace and love. So today I'm excited. I know we've been going back and forth, Sister Raziki, online about today's topic and what we wanted to do. And I really wanted to showcase the work that Nature's Crown is doing, not only in our local community, but abroad. I know that you guys just recently, maybe 2 years ago or a year back, took a trip over to Kenya and established some relationships over there. And 2 days ago or yesterday, I saw the video that you guys put up. I think the video has been up at least for a year or so, and it shows your interactions with the people over in Kenya. And I thought that that was a very, very powerful video, because what you were essentially showing was a reconnection with Africa. So then I asked myself, why should we reconnect with Africa? A lot of people here in the Americas don't understand why we need to reconnect with Africa. Many of us here in America don't even want to identify with Africa. And there's a reason for that. Now, I want to quote from Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, said that a people without knowledge of their past, origin, and culture is like a tree, he said, without roots. And we know what happens to a tree that isn't rooted. It dies, okay? Then I was reading a book by Shank Auntie Diop called Civilization or Barbarism. And in that book, Diop tells us that the greatest weapon of colonization and debasement was the eradication of our historical conscious, okay? So they had to erase who we were, our memory of self. That's what they did. That's what the dominant society or this system of domination, that's what they did. They eradicated our historical conscious. So they eliminated knowledge of self. Why? Because that is necessary for acculturation. And what is acculturation? Acculturation is the cultural modification of an individual, group, or people by adapting to or borrowing traits from another culture, okay? And I read that from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, okay? And one of those traits that we have been taught was hate. And they taught us to hate ourselves. And in order to hate ourselves, we have to hate where we come from, all right? So now, because of how we have been socialized, we have developed a disdain for Mother Africa, so much so that we have totally disconnected from her, all right? So a lot of us talk about nation building, but we have to understand that in order to nation build and to rise above our current condition, we must reconnect with our ancestors, which calls for us to reconnect with Mother Africa. So with that said, ladies, I applaud the work that you are doing. I applaud what you did by going over to Kenya. Your video brought tears to my eyes. I sat I watched it, I cried. I took it back, I watched it again, and I cried, especially when I saw the babies, you know, and saw you guys, you know, speaking Swahili, you know, speak Mambo. I loved it. Asante Sana. They like Kiribu. You know, I loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. And then you went to a school, you met the teachers, you know, and then you talked about agriculture, you know, in the video. And it was a powerful, powerful video. I applaud what you guys are doing. You know, I mean, this is what nation building is about. And I feel like when I watched the video, I was watching, you know, Pan-Africanism not in real time, but I was looking at an example of Pan-Africanism. And so I just want to salute Nature's Crown for the work that you guys are putting in the connections that you are establishing over on the continent. And so with that said, I would like for us to watch the video together, and then after that, we'll do some dialoguing on the video. You guys go into, you know, how, you know, tell us about your trip. Tell us what your thoughts were when you got off the plane. You know, how were you treated? What were the conditions of the different places that you visited? So I want to know that. I'm anxious to hear that, but I would love, Sister Kia, if you would just put up the clip. So we'll watch the clip, and after we watch the clip, then we'll do some dialoguing.
Okay, so let me just give an introduction on what we're about to watch, so the audience will have some kind of idea of what we're watching. So Nature's Crown / KLS at that time, we did a seminar based upon the Hidden Colors series in Kenya, specifically Nairobi, and even more specifically Shalimore, which is the eastern part of Nairobi. So anyway, we had a representation of about 7 different tribes in the building. Now, Kenya has about 42 tribes in Kenya, and some of the tribes we know of, if you meet anyone from Kenya, you're probably going to meet someone from the Kikuyu tribe or the Lua or the Luya, and our president himself is of the Luya tribe. So anyway, so at this presentation, I had a representation of about 7 tribes, and we did the video on the Hidden Colors. Riziki broke the Hidden Colors down in different sections of what we thought would be important for them to watch. And so we went through each slide and we had a discussion on each slide. We hit on history, we hit on religion, a number of things within the Hidden Color series. So this, what you're about to see, I think we just finished history, if I'm not mistaken. And I was talking to the crowd about us being lied to about Africa and why they do not see a huge representation of quote unquote African Americans in Africa right now. And after that, we get a question asked. And then one of the local Kenyans, or one of my brothers who actually put the presentation together, who is Kenyan, who live in Kenya, he responded. And I hope you guys take this in consideration. I hope you appreciate his response, because it was a message to us in the diaspora, period. So let's watch.
Africa, other than Egypt, which is the only one they let us.
Do we have any questions? We want to hit on the part where they said that they show the worst parts in Africa, especially in the United States. That I want to explain why you may not, or you may see a great presence of African Americans in Africa right now, and I want to kind of explain that a little bit so that we can fully understand what's going on. Like she hit in the DVD, a lot of the situations are they're putting commercials out there, and they're showing the worst parts of Africa. And every time that I look at the TV, or every time anyone looks at the TV, If you see the worst part of Africa, that's what your image of Africa is going to be. If you don't travel, there's a lot of African Americans in America they're being lied to, as well as Africans as well. But I'm sure if our sisters and brothers in America knew the truth, if they came or had the opportunity to come to Africa and see that not all of Africa looked the way they put on TV, they would be over here. But you got to understand there are lies, layers of lies that are being told, and it's not a thing of wanting to come here. It's being scared. You know, you're told that if you go, you may get malaria, or you may get AIDS, or you may get all this crazy mess. All this to you, and they're gonna do that to you when you really don't know what's going on. You're just going off of what somebody else told you, or what you've been taught in school. So I want to dispel that by definitely showing that we are not cavemen, we are not starving, we are not up here running like Tarzan, like she said, and running with our shoes off and all that. We have educated black women and men in this crowd, and me personally speaking for all the African Americans, I think once we open up and once we get this knowledge, man, I'm telling you, we coming over here and we gonna unite and we gonna do something big. All right. Yes.
I mean, why do you think they're putting that bad picture of Africa and they're looking at you guys bad? The face of Africa.
Great. Okay, somebody will answer.
Let me answer that question. When you are told that your mom is the best cook ever, you always believe your mom is the best cook. Unless you test somebody's mom to food and realize, oh, there is another mom that is better. So you will stick with your mom's food forever. So once they are told how Africa is, they're given the kibira part of it. No, they're given them all Nairobi. They have never shot a new Nairobi river, never. The way it is clean. They still have the old Indian system. So they want to separate us. So these guys will never know the truth, and us will never know the truth, because we take them as the slaves. It's true. Once you see a black American, you say, this is a slave. No. He is an African like you. She's black. Thank you. I'm sorry to say this. You know the moms here and their fathers here. But in fact, the white man. The white man will come here and will tell you how.
That's funny. Yes. So as you can see, he really went in and it was a true representation. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Maya.
No, I was saying, yes, he did go in, and I love how in the video you describe like the ill perceptions that we have, you know, for them. And then in that video, when he stood up and spoke, that revealed to me the ill perceptions that they have of us. I think Sister Raziki and I, when we were talking, she said, yeah, they look at us as the slaves that got caught. You know, y'all are the ones that got caught, slaves, you know. So for that brother to stand up and say, yeah, you know, look, I used to view you guys as slaves, but now I see you and you just look like brothers, you know, your sister, like, you know, we're the same people. When I looked in that crowd, Sister Keisha, they look just like cousins or something, like distant relatives. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, we really, really have to, like you said in the video, dismantle and dispel those those ill perceptions that we have for each other in order to reconnect. Do you have the video of the actual trip, Sister Kia, handy? The one that you and Raziki both filmed? The one that's
I have it.
Yeah, Raziki have it. She can play it.
You mean the one that you shared on YouTube or we shared yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
And before you do that, were there any other ill perceptions that they had, like of you, any assumptions that they made of you that they shared? I know that he said
Yeah.
as
Oh,
slaves.
yeah.
What were
Yeah.
get into the other ones for me?
Well, yeah, I know for me, just dealing with, because a lot of the people that I met working, you know what I mean? And going into this, it was absolutely no way that I was gonna do this journey without my best friend. Absolutely not. You know, I had to bring Riziki on. It's just no way.
Who you chill with? I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's another point, man. Like she said, build what you chill with. And seriously, like when I met these people, when I was working in Afghanistan, we learned, and I got interested in like, wow, this is interesting. And I had to call my best friend, like, yo, when I go to Africa, yo, you going, son? And she was like, you already know I was on that, and the whole 9 yard. So when we got over there, here's the thing, and I don't know if Riziki or Rizzy remember this, but we went to the mall. We went to Nanakumat.
Oh, wait, hold on. Even before that, though, remember I called you. There was now this is going back to what you were talking about, the ill perceptions of us, right? I remember someone shared with me an article about the club being blown up or something like that, because, you know, of tourists. So I called you. I was like, yo, sis, I'm seeing this. I don't know what's going on. And you were telling me, like, no, trust me, everything's good.
Don't believe that shit.
It's already paid for. Like, no, you're coming. So like you were saying, when we get there, what happened? Finish the story.
Well, when we get there, we get to this club, and I forgot, it's called Carrabba's or something with a C. I forgot. Anyway, listen, when me and Rizzy go to these places, listen, we are ourselves for one. I want the audience to know. Hold on, let's back it up. The first day, because we're going to share our experience, we want everybody to feel the experience. Yes. But the first time we went to Kenya back in 2012. And the day that we got there, because Riziki got there before me, so I don't know what she did, so she can share that with you. But me and my brother, we went to Ethiopia first. We flew into Ethiopia first, and then we went to Mombasa. When we get to Mombasa, Rizzy is already there. She's with the wife. They already got their thing going on. And we literally go from the airport to the supermarket to the club.
Yes.
Okay. It was 1:35 a.m. when we got off the plane. We went to the club, and it was funny because when we got to the club, they were playing hip hop, and it was a group of guys singing and dancing to every word of this hip hop song, and we had never heard of the song. Yeah. So, you know, it kind of helped us in the perception of what we thought Africa would look like. So the first night that we were in Africa, we did not spend it in a hotel. We actually stayed at my brother's aunt's house. Yeah. And so when we got to her house, we opened the door and we like, oh my God, this looked like somebody's aunt's house in America. Mm-hmm. We were frustrated.
It was a culture shock, like really, like so. And I have all of the pictures in my albums on Facebook. It's called Karibu Kenya Part 1 and Part 2. But like she said, you know, we definitely stayed at Aunt Nancy's house in the beginning, and just to see the infrastructure of their house, how it's built. Then you wake up in the morning, like the neighbor across the street had built a salon right in her front yard, and it's just like, you could do that. It's your land. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow. So we're not understanding the freedoms that we are also missing out on. Like, all world governments, unfortunately, have some form of corruption. But you also have to realize, like, again, when we went over there, it's like they want to know about us, but scared of us, and vice versa. So we get to James' house, and by the way, that's the brother in the video that's coming up next. But like, we're showing them Martin, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that was the second one, girl. But yes.
Oh, the second one. But either or, it was always an exchange of understanding each other's culture and having honest dialogue about the perceptions that we have about each other. Not to mention, we also went over there for business purposes. Like this is what we can invest in and stuff. So honestly, that was the main premise of our
the whole thing. So, but listen to this. Even the way we operate now, we are very dysfunctional. I mean, quote unquote African Americans, because even during that time, me and Rizzy were bumping heads a lot. And even the way we communicate, they just did not understand. And when I say we were bumping heads, we were bumping heads. And they would look at us like we were strange. So even the way we communicate in America is so different. They were like, what the hell are y'all? What is, what is wrong? And then there's another story. When I was talking about the Nakumat, here's the good thing is that, yes, we have a culture shock, and I'm gonna leave this alone, and then we can go in the video because we can elaborate on a lot of this stuff. But we were in the Nakumat, and based upon your body structure and how you look, these women did not identify us as quote unquote African Americans. They literally say, "Where are you guys from?"
Some
from
of them come
Rwanda?
up to you.
We was from Rwanda.
Yeah, like some of them will come up to you and speak their native language because they want to. A lady in the airport was trying to pull me out of the U.S. visa line to the Kenyan one because she thought I was Kenyan. And I was like, where am I going? She was like, oh, so you're not Kenyan? They immediately said, hey, you look like this tribe. They'll adopt you. Like, I'm Riziki Adiambo over there. And she has your name. You come.
And they thought we were Rwandan. Remember when we went in the shoe store, Rizzy, and the lady thought we was Rwandan, and we said no, and then she just go down a list of tribes, and we were like, no, we were born and raised in America, and they could not believe it. They could not believe it. They could not believe it.
Tell the difference.
But anyway, I don't want to go too far because we can elaborate on.
Oh, wait a minute. Did they expect you guys to be like bougie, whitewashed women when they met you? Like, some
of the honest conversations I've had, like we had that honest talk. You know what I mean? Like they just don't know how to take you, because even a lot of Africans I met over here, some was my roommates, they said, we're just taught not to trust you, and you're thugs, and you know what I mean?
Well, I know for me, the guy that I dated for a year and a half, I was engaged to him. He was Kenyan. I literally met him in Kenya. Rizzy was with me. I met him in Kenya. It was like out of a movie. And we just instantly connected. And yeah, she felt a certain kind of way about it. But anyway, we met in Kenya. And so his perception of he had never met an African American. Never in his whole life. And so his whole perception was, that we were, like you said, bougie, we thought we were all of that, even a little ratchet or ghetto, or we were dangerous. His mother had told him never to date anybody that was from America, only a white woman, because we were considered dangerous.
Wow.
So once we connected, he realized that no, that is not true at all. And him and I had more in common than we thought. And here's the funny thing, his lifestyle growing up was better than my lifestyle, and he could not believe it. 2-parent home, we went to private schools and so on and so forth. And when I got to tell my story, he was like, whoa, wait a minute. He expected that my life would have been this fairy tale that you see on TV.
Television, exactly.
And reality, his lifestyle was way better than mine.
And that's another thing that we have over here, Sister Kia, we have this misperception that they're like that Africa, like this, that they're totally impoverished, that every community is indigent, and like you said, I've met people from Nigeria here in America who have money. They showed me pictures of their homes and their upbringing, and I'm like, wow, you're doing a hell of a lot better over there than we're doing over here. You know what I mean? So, our perception of them is that I'm telling you, the media and the educational system will have you think that the Africans are over there swinging from trees, living in huts.
No.
When you think of an African, you think of like the Bushmen. You think of the people in the rural areas. That is the image that they project of them, and now I see that over there, the media projects this image of us being thugs and criminals to them. So now that's creating a distrust between them and us. And then also, I was also told that when Africans come over here to America, that prior to them, I don't know if they showed them this video at customs or what, but I was told that when they come into the States, that they actually get briefed on how to conduct themselves here. And that during the briefing, they are told, you know, stay away from the Black Americans. These are criminals. These are people not to be trusted. So, you know, not only are they ingraining, you know, this thug image or this gangster image in their minds in Africa, but even when they travel here, there's a distrust for us. You know, there's also, the distrust is further enhanced at the briefing where they're told not to trust Black Americans. So I saw you shaking your head on that, Keisha. Can you elaborate on that or expound on that, sis?
Yeah. What was that last part, sis? I'm sorry. What did you say?
When they come over here to the States, I said I was told by African people, like Nigerians, they get briefed on the do's and the don'ts. And one of the don'ts are don't socialize with Black Americans.
Yeah.
These people aren't to be these people are criminals, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So even just with my experience as a contractor, and just contracted in Afghanistan, and I also I'm prior military, so I was in the military, and I also was deployed to Iraq, so I also worked with Ugandans in Iraq. But in Afghanistan, I was in Afghanistan for quite a while. The Kenyans that I met that were literally from Kenya, went from Kenya to Afghanistan. They had never been anywhere else, so this was their first, time meeting Black folks, right, from America. And even with them, we were separated on the base. It was amazing, right? So you'll see Indians greet Indians from other part of India. You see Bosnians or Europeans greet other. And I told Rizzy this before one time. They'll greet each other. You see Filipinos from different part of, But then us and the Africans, it would be the same thing you would see in America, which was unbelievable. And so this is why I really linked up with the Kenyans when I was there, because I was boggled. My mind was, I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, wait a minute now. We look the same. If I didn't tell you that I was from the United States, because we bear witness to us going to Africa and being called Africans, like there is no difference. Even if you spoke, they're going to assume that you were still born in Africa and you may have went abroad and learned.
Yeah.
Or went for education, but they're going to assume that you're African, right? Mm-hmm. And so even with that notion, it was just crazy that we would walk clear by each other and won't say anything. So anyway, I asked them and they said, listen, the image is that you guys are criminals. The image is that Black women will call rape on us, that they are dangerous. Yes. That they can't be trusted. Yes, absolutely. So the good thing is that the fact that Rizzy and I were able to go there and connect with the men and women, and people trusted us in their homes, says a lot about our people in Africa. Okay, there is no, outlandish dislike for us. It's just a lack of knowledge, right? And I'm going to tell this funny story. But we were at the resort, and we were getting breakfast, and I was getting an omelet, and one of the cooks said, "Hakuna Matata," right? And I said, "Oh, you saw the Lion King too?" He looked at me and said, "That's Swahili." I said, "Oh my gosh, I did not know that was Swahili."
Wow, I didn't know either. That Hakuna Matata.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, the whole movie, the Lion King is based off a Kenyan fairy folktale.
Yeah.
Simba is a Swahili name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenya. I mean, what is this? Simba and Mufasa, and those are Swahili names. So I didn't know, but yeah, he said Hakuna Matata, and I said, "Oh, you saw the Lion King too?" He looked up. He was,
And Rafiki means friend in Swahili. The monkey Rafiki,
right.
that means friend.
Yeah, and actually, we were given these names. Wakesho means tomorrow or the future. We were given these names.
Wow.
Yeah.
You all were named when you went on your trip to Kenya.
Yeah, we were given these names from our brother's uncle in her home, and based upon the time of birth, we were given this because her name is what? Riziki
Adiambo.
What is it?
Adiambo.
Adiamo.
Yeah. From the Louis.
Mine is Wakesho Akini.
Thank
And those yeah,
Now,
those are both Taita names.
Now, question. Now, when he gave you these names, did you guys experience like a traditional naming ceremony?
No, it was in her home. The aunt, listen, they are very westernized. Contrary to what people think, I mean, we were in her home. This woman is rich. Okay, she had about two or three homes. We went to her farm home. We rode horses and
had chicken coops, man. Out cows. I milked an African cow over there, man.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah,
You ain't milking cows.
yeah, man.
Look.
Yeah, so we were in her home with listen, we were in her home having a drink with her with MTV Africa on the TV, and she, yes.
So yeah, colonization was definitely real. You know, you said they were, westernized. So when you went over there, I'm not trying to say that, that the cultures were, that they lost all of self, but just like we have been acculturated, they were acculturated right on the continent. That's what you're telling me. Yeah, they were.
I think. I'm sorry. I think it's a duality. I think they moved with time, right? Because we have to be realistic. I think they cultivated with time, and I also do think that they were colonized because they do hold some of their cultural traditions to truth. Like when we go to someone's house, we had to greet the mother a certain way. We had to greet the aunt a certain way. So they hold some truth.
Okay, fantastic. Man, so what else did you see in the communities? I know you said you stayed with a wealthy woman. Did you guys visit other parts of Kenya where they're made with that were, I guess, I don't want to say urban, but
no, I did. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Of course, I love that. So we went to we met a person named Paco, and like he took us on a banana boat and such. And so he lives in this village, but he has the only house in the village. Like the mother was, like a really big figure in the village community. And so this is where they're like the other houses are like huts, really. And so they have like their makeshift shack that's like a little bar lounge area, and then they're making pure coconut wine, like just, you know what I mean? Like seeing how, and yeah, like I said, he was showing me how to make it and process it a little bit. And I mean, it's pure. They don't add nothing to it. It's just the art of how to preserve it. And even like along the beach, you had certain people who had their huts, and that's where they would cook their chapati, their black beans, the black tea, you know what I mean? And it was really, really a humbling experience, like to witness that side. Because the first time we went, we had a resort, but we spent a lot of time like in the real communities. Like we really didn't spend a lot of time in the resort. And then after a while, we just started staying like with the families. And then the second time we had got an apartment, but it was kind of the same thing. But yeah. Like,
so wait a minute, sis. You've been over there multiple times.
Oh yeah. Like I said, our main thing was to like, we went over there with a purpose, because when Kia connected with the people where she worked, we also was thinking like, okay, business opportunities too. Like actually she called me and was saying how her and, James was thinking about doing a business. And, of course she called me in on it. And so I'm like, yo, I'm with it. So the first time we went, we was like scoping out like land and just certain ventures, or, just scoping out ideas. The second time we went, the same thing. And we ended up getting a business license, setting up a little account. And I know Kia, you know, she also has some land out there as well. So like, it's definitely a time for us to start creating alliances, like just with how, you know, the energy is moving. We like alliances are a serious deal for 2017. So
Yeah, I mean,
And
absolutely, sis. I just wanted to add this. Did you notice, like, we're the only people who don't have an alliance with our ancestral continent, our
exactly.
ancestral continent. Like, I look at the Arabs. You think they don't communicate with the people in the Middle East?
Exactly.
You know? Then if you look at the Jews, you think they don't communicate with Israel?
Exactly.
Or the Asian man, the Chinese man doesn't communicate with China, or the Japanese man. So as Black people, African people, and I hate even using the term, sisters, African American. You know, even when I'm talking about Meltrek to parents, I'll say African and African American people, because I know that some of us just aren't there. You know what I mean? Like, some of us just aren't ready to just declare ourselves as Africans. I actually had a conversation with one of my male friends. He's a very, very good male friend of mine. And we were talking one day, and he was like, I am an American. He said, I've never been to that continent. I don't know anyone there. He said, so I am an American. And I was like, no, brother, you are an African in America. Just like a Chinese man would be a Chinese man. You know, he's Chinese, but he's in America. He's not Chinese American. He's just Chinese. That's it. But you have a lot of us who don't identify, don't even want to identify with Africa.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying, sis?
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate because you'll see every other culture over there buying up businesses, starting businesses. You had a Chinese restaurant that opened over there that had a nerve to turn away Black people. Like,
wow.
Right. And you in the continent of Africa, like, this is what's going on. And it hurt my feelings. Like, you'll see a lot of older foreign men having babies with these young girls that have ties to the land and like whatever, you know what I mean? And it's very sad, like, to be in your own homeland and, you know what I mean, you're not even reaping from the resources that's being taken from it. And so
exactly.
One of the main things with like the movement that we're on is creating these alliances with our people, like, all over the world. Like,
exactly. And sis, I just want to add this. When you had made a comment, just came to mind. I was talking to a buddy who lives in the UK, and she was telling me that over there, when they talk about vacationing, it's always go to Cape Town, vacation in South Africa. You know, like, they'll show all of the beautiful beaches and stuff in Africa, and they encourage the people over in Europe, you know, vacation in Africa. And I was just thinking, I said, you know, I'm from Baltimore, so when I travel, I normally travel out of the BWI airport. But even when we're looking at TV, we see advertisements of go to the Caribbean. You know what I mean? You know, travel to Jamaica, go to Belize, you know, go to Bermuda, go to the islands. But they never encourage us to go over to Africa.
right.
Never.
Never.
I just wanted to add that, sis.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, so this next video I'm going to show is I believe it was our second trip or first. I can't remember, but it was a trip to Kenya, and part of our premise, again, like with the businesses that we start, is to again create you know, business alliances with our people. And so one thing we always promised was like, you know, well, we definitely want to give back to a particular cause or organization. And so just to set this up, this family, this lady, she had this house and realized like a lot of children in the neighborhood could not afford school fees to attend school. So she gave up her home and her land to, you know, create this facility for children to go and learn, and you know what I mean? And so this is us kind of doing a tour, and in a sense, like, we've adopted this orphanage, if you will, so that, you know, we can help them get the supplies they need, so forth and so on. So let me share. Okay.
Now, this is what you call boots on the ground. People talk about nation building and, you know, overcoming this system of domination that we're under, but you sisters have boots on the ground. And I applaud what you, I applaud what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys are nation building on a global scale. Sis, I gotta see, I can't see your screen, my sister.
Neither.
Sister Razika, you muted yourself, sis. Oh, here we go. All right, let me mute myself. Sis, you had to unmute yourself for us to hear what's going on. Raziki. Sister Raziki, unmute yourself, sis.
Okay. All right, you can hear it?
You got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes.
All right.
Greetings. My name is Kia Simmons. Greetings. My name is Sharita Riziki Evans.
Hello, Mom Vipi. James hapa. James Kelvin Lawson.
And first, I have to give thanks to the Most High for giving us the strength, the courage, and the audacity to go all the way across seas and embark on a journey of this magnitude.
Thank God for, just making this dream come true. And I know it's going to come true.
Thank the Destiny Visionary School for allowing us to come to Kenya and be a part of their vision, as well as share the vision with them. This journey has been a true blessing, a true testimony of what it's like to have like-minded individuals come together and make the dream happen. Hopefully this video will let you know a little bit about what KLS is about. And I hope you guys take heed to some of the things that are going on in the outside world today and some of the effects that it have on people and the change that we can make for others. Enjoy the video, and I hope you guys learn a little Swahili at the same time.
Peace out, tuko pamoja, tupendane mandugu na madada, Amerika, Kenya, Afrika yote tuko pamoja. Peace out.
We first started our journey on the south coast of Mombasa because it's not as developed as the north coast. That's one of the reasons why we chose to concentrate our efforts on the south coast of Mombasa. Now we're going to start the tour?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, first, you said that these are some of your teachers. Yeah. Introduce them, please.
His name is Japheth.
Japheth. And what do you teach? Mathematics. Okay. Nice to meet you. Thank you. And what's your name? Patrick.
Head teacher.
He's the head teacher. So where you guys have a farm here, maybe, where you grow your own food? Okay. So what are some of the things you're growing here?
Some of the things we are growing, we used to grow tomatoes.
Oh, what are those? I'm sorry, on that tree.
Those are pawpaws.
Pawpaws.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have about 250 children.
250, okay. Now, 250 children seems kind of like a lot. And in a way it is, compared to the amount of resources that are there currently. They have the farm, as you can see, they're definitely growing their own food. To try to save money, there's only 6 classrooms and a library. There's a teacher's lounge and a bathroom. And as you get to go along more, you'll see why we need to be able to help this school, because the number of children are growing, but yet the resources aren't.
These are some more teachers.
Okay. And what are their names and what do they teach?
She's Esther.
Miss Esther. Miss Kamal, do I say? Okay. Diana, nice to meet you. What do you teach? English, okay. And what's your name? Mary. Nice to meet you. Oh, you're the cook. Okay, we're friends. Yeah, I love to eat. What's your name? And what do you teach? I teach kindergarten. And can we go see one?
Yeah, sure.
Mambo. Mambo.
Today is the closing day of
school. Oh, last day of school? Oh, okay. So what do you guys learn in this class? 1 and 5. What's your favorite subject? You. What do you like to learn? Yeah. What do you like to learn? Who? Mathematics. Oh, okay. What about you? What do you like to learn? Social studies? Yeah. What about you? Science. Who? Science. Wow. Okay, so science, social studies, and math. Okay, thank you. Okay, this is another class. Mama.
And she's doing like a
Now, can y'all teach me to count in Swahili? Thank you guys. Asante sana.
bye-bye.
Okay. All right, last classroom.
Yes.
Okay, great. Mambo. All right, and another thing that's going on here, sorry guys, like I get emotional around children, but we have doctors here and they came from Indonesia and
Some of them are local.
and some of them are local. So can we Salome. And what's your name? Salome? Marcelo. And I don't know if you all noticed, but I definitely noticed when we got into the classrooms, it was really, really crowded. Also, another thing was the desks. The desks weren't even that big. They weren't that wide or that long, and you had at least 3 or 4 children to a desk. So bigger classrooms, more classrooms, desks, chairs are some of the supplies that are needed as of now. And while I was talking to Miss Marcelo, James decided to get the party started.
Hey, mambo. Au mnasemanyaje? Semanyaje usema poa. Niko gani mnajua poa tu hivyo? Niko gani mnajua mambo ya tamaduni? Wazi, hiyo poa sio? Nani atanipa mwingine? Nyingine poli gani? Hamna nyimbo nyingine poa? Yes, sir.
Okay, wait a minute. How do I stop screen sharing? All right, and we're back. Y'all can see me?
I was talking, sis. I was trying to get myself together. Oh my goodness. Every time I watch that, every time I watch your video, I just get overwhelmed with happiness. And so I was talking when you were talking, and I was trying to, I forgot that my microphone was muted. But that was so, looking at the Swahili and watching you guys engage, with the people. And when I heard the children count in Swahili, my 6-year-old, he learned how to count in Swahili. I don't know if you guys saw the video on my Facebook page, but yesterday I was like, look, baby, you got to see what these kids are doing. And that gave him a chance to actually hear it spoken by like the native speakers, versus me trying to figure out what it's saying. He had the opportunity to listen to the children pronunciate the numbers. Right. And so, like, for example, is it Ine? Not Ine, or is it Mbili? It's just Billy. I think they just pronounced it Billy. I told him that it was Mbili, but it's just Billy. And so Billy. So we made some adjustments with that. And then I always pronounce thank you as Asante Sana, which is incorrect. It was pronounced, how do they pronounce it again?
Asante Sana.
Asante Sana.
So, I said, I got to make some corrections. I got to work on my Swahili once I saw the actual video. So it was beautiful. But one thing that did jump out at me, and I believe that, and I want Sister Riziki to expound on this, was the fact that they're over there growing their own food. You know what I mean? Like they're acting like you were showing all of the different things, and they were growing it, I believe, at the school. So they're teaching their children how to farm. And that is very important. I talk to my sons all the time about this. I said, if they ever close the supermarkets, what would you do? And I've taught them how to fish. There's a place here in Baltimore. It's called the Patapsco Park. I've taken them over there and taught them how to fish. And I don't do the cleaning of the fish and the degutting and all of that. I save that for my aunties to do them. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we have become so lazy as a people that now we depend on another nation to feed us.
Yeah, for sure.
And these people are over there, they're growing their own food, and they're teaching their children how to grow their own food. So can you elaborate on that, Sister Riziki? Because you and I were building offline about that, and you were saying that kind of jumped out at you as well. And you said that was the impetus for you wanting to get more involved in agriculture and the need for it. So could you break down that? Like, why is it important that we grow our own food? Can you start there? And then what do we need to do to get started?
Absolutely. So like you said, along with that, just seeing that and the fact that there was a moment in time where Atlanta got snowed in and the grocery stores was closed and people was breaking in, just to get some food. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So that's what, like you said, got me into agriculture. And it's important because a lot of the food, number one, is killing us. A lot of this genetically modified food will genetically modify you, number one. Number two is that, again, like the saying goes, he who feeds the people controls them. We have to control our own food supply. Like, people say about getting away from the system, but that's a necessity. Food, eating, that's a necessity. So if you don't even control the necessary tools needed for basic survival, that's a problem. Food, clothing, shelter. How many men who know how to build? How many architects do we have? How many landscapers? You know what I mean? How many farmers? I know we're coming on a rise, but we also are not owning our own land. And, I give thanks to the farm I worked on, but I always had this gut feeling of it ending because it was not owned by us. And so I said to myself, before I step foot on anybody's farm, it's definitely going to be something I have ownership of. You know what I mean? Or unless we have some kind of contract, because that's another thing. We got to get serious about agreements and plans and strategy. So growing food is definitely a part of culture. Every culture was surrounded by agriculture.
Yes, I mean, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Just says, sis, that every culture was rooted in agriculture. You know what I mean? Like every sedentary culture practiced agriculture.
Mhm.
And right now, you know, they really have a lot. They have more control over us than we think. You know, they control even how you feed your children. And then think of all the things that they're putting inside of the foods. You know, you have these GMO foods.
Right.
You know, you have this, you know, a lot of people want to become vegetarians, but then instead of growing their own foods, they'll get the Morningstar products.
Right.
Where the Morningstar products are filled with soy.
Right.
And soy, you know, is tied to, you know, I heard that, you know, it could cause cancer and that it's
Absolutely. And it humanizes our men. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you wonder why you have little boys walking around right now with breasts bigger than ours.
Like they don't understand how bad this is. Like this is a form of chemical warfare. If you want to get into it, you are putting things in the food that have certain kind of neurological, you know, all kinds of effects over time. And so again, we as a people, if we're not growing our own food, it's important to, you know, support or people who you trust. And that's why I'm talking about alliances. Like, you know, again, just studying how the universe moves. Like next year, seriously, alliances are a big key, and we have to start with controlling our own. So even getting into Nature's Crown, you know, that's a huge part of it. You know, growing food, self-sustainability, you know what I mean? Like supporting people who know how to produce things, you know, and I don't want to give too much, but we have to get to the point where we are producing again. And we've been connecting with a lot of people who, you know, make their own products. As a matter of fact, if you Nature's Crown ATL@gmail.com, if you all make products and looking for, you know, some distribution, let us know, shoot us an email. So the company we're launching next year definitely promotes and supports agriculture, self-sufficiency, and producing. Like, we don't understand how much the world is waiting for us to just get on our business. And I want to say this last thing, and then I'm a close. But so there was this thing that was circulating on Facebook, this loom thing, right? And it was so amazing how I just saw all of us, you know, giving $100, you know, but when it comes to investing in business, you know, 8 of you getting together and putting money up for a venture or an investment, you know what I mean? Like, why can't we get there on a more mass scale? So, you know, we're definitely all about showing by example. So we just thank everybody.
And I just want to elaborate on that. Also, you know, we promote agriculture and self-sustain and stability, but we also promote investing and operating within this corporate dynamics and understanding the strength or the non-strength of what we call money, which is currency. And so we have to understand how to conduct business correctly. So we also promote that as well. We also promote making sure that you give great customer service. You always invest in your business. One thing that I would say about our community as a whole is we're opening businesses, right? We're owning our own business and so on and so forth. However, anyone could go into any hood or wherever and can go to a soul food restaurant where they haven't updated their menu in freaking 20 years. or they haven't changed the design in the floor room, or whatever the case may be. And so with that being said, we have to learn how to invest in ourselves so that we can compete with corporate America. So we can give those different options to the people that we're saying, listen, we have to rely on each other. We have to become independent, but we have to give them the same services that they would get on the outside. So we also have to remember that. So Nature Crown also promote that. We also promote international alliances like we spoke before. We are not just to do business in the United States of America, but we understand that we are indigenous people globally. And so we understand that we can do business on any country or continent on this planet. So we definitely promote international alliances and international investments.
Yeah.
I love how you brought that up, Sister Kia, how we'll open a business and, you know, won't put the money back. I'm not counting the brothers and sisters pennies, but you're right. We will open up a business, and instead of ensuring that we can render the top quality, you know what I mean? Like you said, we have to be able to compete. We can't go around and ask people to buy Black and to support Black when they could say, well, look, I went over there and the light, I went to go dine in that Black owned and operated restaurant and the sales caving in. Or, I went over to the Black owned and operated, carry out, and the people were nasty to me. You get what I'm saying? We have to offer.
That's right.
We have to, like you said, to be able to compete and offer the best quality possible. And where it starts, Sister Kia, it starts with erecting our own educational institutions and teaching our children that sort of etiquette. Our people don't know. Our people go to elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, and they don't take business classes. And see, that is why it's important to erect African-centered institutions that are run, that are controlled and operated by us with curriculum that teaches them business etiquette. How do you start a business? How should you conduct yourself, in this business? So that is where it starts. It starts with the educational institution, and that is why it is important. And I know that we did a show on this maybe the week before last where we talked about I think the name of the show, I changed it because I didn't want to, but it was who is qualified to teach us. And we talked about the importance of creating a curriculum that will benefit us. And in that curriculum, we have to include business. We have to include business etiquette. We have to include a class on professionalism, things of that nature. So I'm glad. Did you want to add something, Sister Kia?
No, I just wanted to add, like you said, we have to have these African-centered curriculums, but we also got to understand, and I hate to use this word, but we got to understand the game that is being played. So then we have to be competing on those lines where we're understanding the game and we're maneuvering and counter-reacting the bullshit in so many words that come towards us. So, and it's one more thing that I wanted to say. And me and Rizzy was talking about this earlier. There's this notion or this perceived notion that consciousness come with a different look, a certain lifestyle. Consciousness also is synonymous with being poor. That makes absolutely no freaking sense. There's no way that you could be conscious, which simply means aware of your surroundings and know or feel comfortable with being poor or poverty. We're representing, and what we want to do is be able to just reiterate the fact that has nothing to do with sustaining life, teaching people, and building alliances and nation building. Poverty has nothing to do with that. And so we understand that the paradigm that we live in and the society that we live in today, 2016, it takes money to move anything. That's just the reality of where we at. And we have to understand that we have to pool our money together. We know that group economic work. We also understand that you have to make some sacrifices. Stop spending your money in places that you're not supposed to. Stop spending your money on things you do not need. Sacrifice a couple of things. Put $50 aside. Put it in your pocket. Put it in the closet. Put it in your savings so it can collect interest. Whatever you feel is better for you, do that. but we must make that sacrifice. So we want to be able to be in a position where we are setting the example and we promote these things. We have integrity in what we do, and we want our people to be on the same level, on the same frequency level, where we are moving collectively in the same direction.
Ashe, and I just want to add this to what you said, Sister Kia. Being conscious, like you said, is to be aware. But we have to understand that being conscious is also, Dr. Kaba Kamene talks about consciousness being a verb. So simply being aware calls for you to act. You get what I'm saying? Like if I'm aware of something, it's going to cause me to act. So he said that being conscious is not only a noun, but it can be perceived as a verb. And in this book right here, Blueprint for Black Power, I can't even see myself. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't see myself just now. But even in Blueprint for Black Power by Dr. Amos Wilson, I love this brother. This is an ancestor. He has a lot of lectures online. I study him thoroughly. As a matter of fact, I'm watching one of his lectures now and I'm halfway through it. But in his book, Blueprint for Black Power, he has an entire section devoted to consciousness. I'm not going to read that, but I do want to read page 91. All right. And I'm going to show it on the screen. And maybe that, maybe if you rewind the tape and freeze this part, you'll be able to read the passage. But he says that consciousness refers to a level of physiological and psychological arousal, which permits the individual to become conscious or aware of his internal and external environments and facilitates his ability to regulate his cognitive and behavioral capabilities towards achieving goals he finds desirable. Consciousness is a type of active, all right? Consciousness is a type of active intelligence. By that, it is an adaptational force. So wait a minute. Consciousness is an active intelligence, and he said it's an adaptational force which utilize instinctual, habitual, innovative, inventive, and creative approaches in responding. Wait a minute. So all of these are verbs: active, to adapt. It said right here, respond, approaches in responding to various environmental demands and incentives. All right. So that is being conscious. What you guys, I know you guys are conscious because you're out there being active.
Yeah.
Active. People kill me with, I'm conscious because I've read a bunch of books, or I'm conscious because, I follow so-and-so on YouTube. Being conscious is way more than that. Now that you are aware that you are under a system of domination, what do you purport to do about that?
Right.
What are you going to do? So your mind, I don't care how many books you read. That's cool. I chop it up with brothers all day. I love to study history because history allows us to understand our current reality. So don't get me wrong. I think that it's a must, it's a requirement to study history. But while we're studying history, we need to be studying politics. We need to be studying economics. We need to also study agriculture. We need to also study military strategies, okay? Because a nation is defenseless if it can't defend itself. And that is why you look around at these cases and you see all of the police brutality happening with Black Americans. You want to know why? Because they know that you can't defend yourself, okay? They know that you are a powerless people.
That's
right. We don't have a military. If the United States government violated some Arabs over here right now, they would have the Middle East to worry about. If the United States violated the Chinese and Japanese men and women here, they would have the Chinese and Japanese military to worry about. So why do they think they can violate Black people? Because they know that you are defenseless. So while we're studying history, again, we need to study agriculture, economics, politics, military strategy. And shout out to the General Abazu Amen, who is a military general and more than qualified to start a military on his own. Shout out to you, brother Abazu Amen. But would you ladies like to add anything in closing?
Well, as for me, I just want to really encourage people again in 2017 or whatever, however you start your new year or whatever. Yo, alliances are very, very important. Build with who you chill with, like for real. If you know you want to get out of the situation you're in, look into some investments, some real estate, but there has to be a serious effort in creating alliances so that we can move collectively and actually catch up in the race, if not dominate it, you know. Also be on the lookout for Nature's Crown. We are launching next year in February. So we definitely look forward to working with people who, you know, want to produce. And yeah, you'll see us around. So that's all I have. Oh, travel. Thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's because that's what I was about to say, man. Travel, invest. Research, and practice what you preach. Listen, we don't need a lot of people out here saying they conscious and they about that life and they ready to make this movement, and you don't even apply it to your own life. If you're not willing to make this practical, listen, please do not contact Nature's Crown. I'm gonna speak for it because we don't have time. Time is of the essence, and time is now for us to do what we say we're going to do. So if you're not about the law of practicing what you preach, if you don't have no sense of integrity, then don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. That's my message to the people. That's my message to the people. And I hold true to what we say we're going to do. And, you know, again, 2017, Nature's Crown popping off. You know what I mean? Dr. Maya doing her thing. All right, that's it.
So I just want to say, I know you, I mean, you know, you are my sisters and I love you. And a lot of people say, well, Dr. Maya, you know, you building this platform, you know, for the sisterhood, and you could be on this other platform and that other platform. You would get more views. And, you know, look at your views. You know, you could get more views if you went to other platforms. Right now, I'm on a mission to build the sisterhood. I wholeheartedly believe, Sister Riziki and Sister Kia, that the key to building the nation starts with elevating the woman. All right? Elevating the woman, okay? Because we have forgotten that it's the woman that nurtures and cultivates the children. Or the children. The children are the men and women of the future. It starts with the woman. And look at the power of what we're doing as women. 2 sisters went over to Kenya 3 and 4 times. I believe, Sister Riziki, did you tell me you guys purchased some land while you were over there, or are you getting ready to make a purchase? Take it off mute, sis.
Kia did. Yeah, she purchased some land. Yep. Did.
The sisterhood. 2 sisters went over to Kenya, purchased land, made alliances with the people of Kenya. So if they shut down the damn supermarkets, I know who I'm running to. If they shut down the supermarkets, I'll be over in Atlanta, Georgia with you, Sister Riziki. So shout out and salute to the sisterhood.
I say.
Yeah. You know, and I just, you know, they say, well, you can do this if you get on this show. And I said, no. I'll keep on working on this show. I don't care if we have 2 views. I'm going to be out here building with my sister and motivating. Yes, Sister Kia.
And just to piggyback, listen, and I want to express that it's not hard for us to do this. Let me, Riziki was there when we opened the first business, when we opened it in Mombasa, and these are 2 different cities. We actually have 2 different bank accounts. We have money in Kenya too, just to let y'all know. But it's not that hard. When we got the business plan in Mombasa, literally, if you have the money, that's all you need. Connections, money, boom, you got it. Then when I got the land in Nairobi, in my business license and all of that, again, it's who you know and the money that you have. We can go over there and connect with the systems. It's not that hard. I'm telling you guys, it's not hard.
It's not.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over there, like you said, and we're going to connect. with the sisters. And I love my brothers, and I hate when I get those brothers, and I understand where their minds are. They're like, is she promoting feminism? Is she, and I'm like, no, I just understand that the woman is the foundation. She's the soil. So I want to make sure that our brothers have a solid foundation to stand on. You get what I'm saying? And that is my motivation. So when I build the sisters, I don't ever want my brothers to think that I'm not thinking of them. Building and resurrecting our African women are also simultaneously building our men. It's the same thing. So with that said, we're going to build the sisterhood. We're going to keep on doing what we do in the community. Again, shout out to Nature's Crown. These sisters have boots on the ground. They're making alliances with the people right there on the continent. They also purchased acres of land on the continent that they are currently cultivating. Before we close, I just want to look at the chat room right now and shout out all the people. I saw that there was Temp in the building. I see Doug 757. I see Abazu Amen, the general. I see Sean P. I love that brother. That's one of my brothers, boy, one of my champions, man. You talk about a sister's keeper. He is the epitome of a sister's keeper. So shout out to brother Sean P. I see brother Jehuti Mayat in the building. I also see Kelly Cash in the building. And there's a sister. She makes sure that she joins us every week. That is Sister Olivia. Shout out to the Queen, Sister Olivia, who is in the chat room. I see Do the Knowledge Radio. This is a brother that supports the sisterhood. He's always promoting. In fact, ladies, he was the brother I think I mentioned this to you all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he wanted us to come on his radio show. So we definitely need to get with that brother from Do the Knowledge Radio. That's Knowledge Born Allah. Shout out to him. I see Olivia. Who else is in the building? Philip D. Shazor is in the building. And I think I covered everyone in the chat room. Nope, Mac Tip. Something's going on.
It's me, sorry.
Okay, so you got Mac Tip in the building. So I would like to salute him. This is a brother that is also a soldier for the sisterhood. So I think that I see someone named Heavy C 757 in the building. So Askia the Great is in the building. Joshua M is in the building. Brother Joseph Flores, that's a good brother. In fact, he organized something called the Conscious Olympics that was here in Baltimore a few weeks back, and that involved like school kids. Let me put this on mute. There were some school kids that were exposed to historical facts, and he made it very fun. He made it like a television game, like a game show, and they got to learn about African history and culture. So shout out to you, brother Joseph Flores. So with that said, join the sisterhood every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Next week. And sisters, I didn't bring this to your attention, but I thought about this. I've been thinking about this topic for the past few days. I want to do a show on how should single mothers raise their sons so that they won't be like, how do we raise our sons as single mothers without effeminizing them and emasculating them? I've been seeing a lot of videos on Facebook of women encouraging their children, their sons. I saw a little boy in a dress, and his mother he was switching, and his mother was encouraging, go such and such, go turn, now do this and do this, So, and then I saw another video with two women, and they had like the little boy in some leggings. And I know that, these women, it clearly was something going on, psychologically with these women, but they were encouraging the little boy to be feminine. And then you have some sisters, and I'm gonna put myself out there right now. With my son, a few days ago, there was an incident that happened, and he's 18 now. And I asked him, I said, why didn't you stand up? Why didn't you stand up and say something? And you know what he said to me, Sister Kia and Sister Raziki? You know why I didn't stand up, Ma? He said, because you always stood up for me. I never had to stand up for myself. He said, whenever something went wrong, you jumped in front of me. And I had to check myself. And I'm riding in the car and I'm calling my girlfriends and everything. And I'm like, did I emasculate my little men? You know, by just her, you know, and I when something did their whole life, their entire lives, when something happened, you know, I would jump, you know, and maybe I jumped a little bit too much because now they're at an age where I expect them to speak up. And my oldest son said to me, I don't know how to, because you've always done it for me. So I really want to do a show next week on, I'm gonna clear this up, Sister Kid. I really want to do a show next week on, if you're a single mom, how do you raise your son without effeminizing or emasculating him? I think that will be a powerful show. Sister Kia, please add to that. You got to unmute your mic, sis, because I heard some stuff in the background and I muted you, so now you.
Oh, okay. So, you know, somebody brought it to my attention that, and it was another brother, that we do emasculate our sons without even knowing. And me personally, with my son, I let him express himself within a controlled environment. Now, if you look at our counterparts, our Caucasian counterparts or whomever else, they let them express them, especially the boys, express themselves. I hate you, mom, and blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not saying that they should disrespect you, but they get to play out their testosterone. They get to, you know what I'm saying, before they actually go out into the world. So what I do with my son, and I'm just going to keep it brief, because we can elaborate it on the next show. But what I do with my son is, like, say, for instance, as an example that actually happened, my son, I asked him the same question maybe 3 times, right? He was frustrated, which is a normal emotion. You know, you know, so he responded, you know, like he was frustrated with me, you know, asking him the same question 3 times because he had answered it, right? And so he said, I said the last time that whoop, de whoop, de whoop, de whoop. So instead of me jumping out of my skin and saying, who you talking to? You better, you know, I said, Xavier, I understand you're frustrated, and that is a normal, you know, emotion to have. All I'm asking you is to change your tone when you say it to me. It's okay if you say, Mommy, I've already answered that question. If you don't remember, I'll repeat it, but I've already answered it. It's such and such and such and such. I said, son, all I ask is that you change the tone because I am your mother. Just put a little respect on it. Right? But I still want him to, you know, feel that feeling, act out his test, you know, be a man. If you feel it's right. So I don't want to emasculate him. And then a lot of that have to do with how we discipline our sons as well. So we can elaborate on that, and I'll give my personal experience with my son. But that's just one of the examples that I try to let him be a man in the situation. You know what I mean? Because he's a boy now, but he will be a man. And I don't want to have those, you know, in encounters where he feel like I emasculate him or I'm always jumping down his throat, you know?
Yeah, and then look, we could go, you know what? I'm going to say all of
yeah.
Because when you talk about the feminization and emasculation of the black man, we could talk about that, you know, the entire 2 hours, you know, and how we as women played a role in that. And because we definitely played a role in that. And in this show, I'm not doing this show to bash any man. I really want to talk about we as sisters, how we contribute to that.
We play. That's right.
I'm not going to go in and say the father, he not there, he should be. No. We're focusing on the sisterhood and how we are contributing to the feminization and emasculation of the black man and what we can do on our parts to correct this phenomenon, because our men are very effeminized. They're very effeminized, and they have been emasculated. So I want to go all in. You know, I want to get into the system of racism, white supremacy. We're going to go into slavery. We're going to go into all of that. We're going to go into the lack of rites of passages that we're not sending our children, because there are rites of passage for men. There are programs out there for men. And in fact, in the spring, I'm sending 2 of my sons, one is 16, well, he'll be 17 in the spring. But at that time, he'll be 17. The other one is 18. He'll be 19. But anyway, I'm sending them through a rites of passage. So we're going to talk about all of that. We as mothers, what we need to do to ensure that our sons aren't effeminized and emasculated. So please, next week, y'all tune in to tea talk with the sisters, and it's real. The entire time we were here, where's your teacup, Sister Riziki? We sit and we drink tea and we talk as sisters because we share the same goal and the same mission, and that is to resurrect the African family by healing and building the sisterhood. So with that said, I'm your girl, Dr. Oya Mayat. You had Sister Riziki L, Sister Keisha, Sister Kia in the building. We missed our sister today, Sister Kaba. I'm gonna get you, Sister Kaba, if you're watching this broadcast. I'm gonna get you. We missed your presence. We missed your presence, great mother. But peace and Black power.